Hey guys, Kashira here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I am talking about something a little bit different. I am sharing with you my personal, I don't know if I want to call it my reset journey, my renewal journey, becoming my higher self or the best version of myself. I don't know, child. Pick a name and apply it. But today I want to share with you some of the things that I am doing to really just take back control of my reality, of my future, and just to make positive changes in my life. So if you are interested in my tips and how my journey is going, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and keep on watching. So bear with me, I have a notepad so I wouldn't forget what I wanted to say. So a couple of weeks ago, I just felt inspired to be very intentional about my life, which is weird because obviously we are intentional about our lives, but it's one of those things where I started to just recognize just bad habits and, certain things and situations I just wasn't happy with. And I'm like, you know what, I need to just fully just take control of this. But also in this, I've been noticing that for the areas I have been intentional about, like my health and things like that, like I've noticed that has caused me to change in a really good way, and it's creating space for the best version of myself, the next version of myself to come through. And I've talked about this a little bit, some of my entrepreneur content, about how as you continue to elevate in your business and in life, you start to shed your former self. You start to almost lose who you used to be in a good way because you are becoming a new version of yourself, right? So there may be old things you used to do that don't bring you joy anymore, things you used to like that you don't like anymore. So something like that, but instead of it being more of just a natural situation, I'm being very intentional about it because it will impact my overall happiness and peace. So I made a list of some of the things that I've done already, and by the time that I filmed this today, I've been doing this for about 3 weeks now. Some stuff happened before then, which we'll get into, but I wanted to go ahead and just share this with you now. So the very first thing I decided to do was make a brand new vision board. I've had the same vision board for maybe 2, potentially 3 years, and that's because the vision board I had before was a huge cork board, and I made like a bunch of little mini vision boards where it was like little categories, and it was a nice vision board, but it wasn't very defined at all. It was just really nice graphics, but like that was really it. So I decided to completely get rid of that and make a new vision board. This one is more scaled down. I bought some like glitter cardstock from Walmart, and I'll insert a clip of my vision board here. So I just bought a pack of that, and I just ended up only using 2. And I think I have a little bit of space left on one of them. And what I did first was I wrote down all of the things I want to accomplish within the next year. One of my goals I think might be 1.5 to 2 years out, which is more like property acquisition. But I wrote down for like health and fitness, relationships, just inner peace, where I wanted to live, assets I want to have, how I want my business to go. I wrote down very specific goals for that, and then I looked for images that match those goals. I also wrote down travel goals as well, and I looked for images, printed them out, cut them out, and glued them down. I still really like physical vision boards. I don't know, it just feels a little bit more powerful for me. And then this time I actually typed up my goals and put them in the center of one of my vision boards. So now I actually look at that. I mean, before I used to always look at my vision board, but now it's different because I actually wrote my goals like affirmations as if they were already a thing. And so now I'm actually reading that and reciting that to myself every single day and looking at that imagery and just embedding those feelings into my current reality, which actually helps with manifesting. The other thing I did was I started to use a journal by Erin Condren. It's called the Vision Journal. If I can find it, I'll link it below. This isn't something that I purchased individually. It came in one of the seasonal surprise boxes. I've probably had it for like a year on my shelf and never did anything with it. But what's really cool about this journal is that the first 20 pages, you're able to write down individual goals or visions. So it's 2 pages per vision. One side of the page, you make a vision board for that particular vision. I have not done that yet. That's a lot of work, but that's something I want to do. You do that on the left, and on the right, you actually write the date, what the vision is, what the vision means to you, how you're going to go about it. And then there's space for you to then journal after that around how you're getting closer to your vision. So I've been using both of those tools just to make sure that I'm keeping my desires top of mind, but also not being attached to them. So I have a defined, time of day in the mornings when I do this. Sometimes at night, depending upon my morning, that I do this. And then after that, I let it go so that I'm not holding on to attachments or anything. So that's one of the first parts in this process. And the reason why this is important, even though I know it's really cliche for everybody to make vision boards, for me, I have a lot of things I want to do, a lot of things that I'm interested in, and I can get really overwhelmed with all of the things that I want to do. And sometimes I can even get off track with that. So actually sitting down and being very intentional and saying, I've accomplished a ton. I'm very happy, but I don't want to be complacent. How do I want to move forward? Setting those defined goals and then creating a vision board to go with it really helped in that process. So the second thing that I've been doing as part of my higher self project is I have been ending relationships and contracts and partnerships that are no longer in alignment, that no longer serve me, and in some cases that have been draining me. And so that's pretty self-explanatory when it comes to relationships. You know who in your life is overstaying their welcome, so that you already know. But even when it comes to business stuff, I think that's where it gets even harder, when you're holding on to people that you partner with that it no longer works. Like maybe the partnership is unequal, maybe they're not carrying their weight, maybe they're just a negative person to work with. And I know if that person is bringing you money or referrals, you may be hesitant to end that. But if it's costing you your peace, then you're not showing up as your best self in your other projects. So that's something you have to be very serious with. So this year I let go of a couple contracts. I unfortunately had to let go of team members as well. But even then, in the midst of that, I really struggled with saying this is the end of the line. And it took a lot of courage to do those things. If you have problem clients that need to be released, this may be the season to do so, and know that, that income will be replaced plentyfold, right? Because when you have more peace and you don't have things draining you, you're now able to really be your best self when it comes to your marketing and your creativity and your coaching and whatever it is that you do. So that was really big. And a caveat to this, number 2A is getting rid of stuff that no longer serve me. And I donate clothes literally every year. That's something I always do. But this year I've had the crazy urge to give away so much of my stuff. I literally packed up bags of old books, and y'all know if you do here, you don't know, but I love books. I have huge bookshelves in my house that are filled with books. I packed up books, I've packed up clothes, I've given away office supplies. And I'm not done. I just keep feeling this urge to purge and just get rid of stuff. And it's, at first I was like, okay, but 2 things came up for me. One, I'm like, am I wasting money? But I've had to tell myself not to get attached. This money will come back, number 1, and 2, money is not everything. And then the other thing is there's some things that I hold on to just because I feel bad about getting rid of it or giving it away. But I've instead decided that instead of thinking about feeling bad, I instead think about who's going to be blessed by this donation. Who's going to be, for example, I have an old Barbie doll that's still in a box, a My Scene doll. I think I'm only keeping 2 of my Barbies that were special editions because I like to put them on shelves. But I don't have the space for a full collector's thing. So I'm just keeping my 2 special editions. So I have this old doll that never has been unboxed. And I was I felt guilty because an aunt gave it to me. And I'm oh my God. No, and this aunt is not going to ask me about this doll. But I just felt bad about it. And so instead of, being frustrated about it, I instead thought to myself, okay, think about the little girl that's going to be gifted this doll, or that's going to see this doll in the store. And because it's at a Goodwill or thrift store will be able to get it for her. And so then I now feel so much better, you know, or with the clothes, I'm like, oh, somebody's gonna be able to like wear this to work or to a special event. And like, I know that, you know, people with money thrift and all of that now, but I just try to tell myself that my stuff is gonna go to people who actually need it. So that's that. So number 3, hiring a personal trainer. So I think I mentioned this in a couple of other vlogs. I can't recall because I have a lot of vlog footage on my phone and I don't know what I posted, but I hired a personal trainer at the end of March and it's now July. We've been working together since then and it's hard, but it's very much worth it. I've definitely struggled with my health and wellness journey and consistency. I talked about this in my Peloton bike update. I really struggled with the consistency piece and I just needed somebody to hold me accountable. And in this instance, it's not like my trainer texts me and says like, what are you doing? What are you eating? Like, not like that, but more so my personality type. If I'm meeting somebody, I'm like early. Like, I don't like people waiting on me. I don't like being late. Like, I don't send people up. I don't do that. So because I know that I have a person waiting for me somewhere, like, I'm going to show up. I'm going to go. Even if I don't want to, even if I'm sleepy, even if I don't feel like working out, like, I'm going to be there. And that's what I mean by holding me accountable. Like, I'm gonna be at the gym. So I train with her twice a week, and then she asks me to do my Peloton 1 to 2 times a week outside of that, and that has been a game changer. I've been able to get into my shorts from Route 21, and previously I could not fit any shorts out of Route 21. And I posted on my like Facebook stories, and a couple friends were like, oh, are you getting skinny? X, Y, and Z. So hiring a personal trainer has been great, and I've noticed that it's not even about like how I look, it's more so about how I feel. In days that I train, I just feel so much better and so much more optimistic. So I'm excited to keep that going because this is the first time in my entire life where I've been consistent beyond 3 months with working out. Number 4 goes along with that. I restarted my meal prep service that I was getting before, and this has been crucial for me because I was trying to just like do it myself for the last like month or so, and it wasn't working, honey. Like, it wasn't it. So I resumed my meal prep service. I use a local company that's a small business here where I live. They deliver. And this is the thing. I am a stress eater, an emotional eater. So I will get French fries, whatever else, when I'm not in the mood. And I know I can literally feel how that impacts my body. Like, I can feel how sluggish I am. Or if I eat something too salty, I can feel my heart racing. And my whole body now has a reaction, which, one, I mean, after years of eating that stuff, you are going to have a reaction. But 2, when you're like spiritually elevating, mentally elevating, you know, financially elevating, like, you're not in alignment when your diet and all of that other stuff is off. Like, you start to like feel it a lot more, even with some of the other areas. If your relationships are off, you're going to feel that. If your spiritual practice is off, you're going to feel that. If other areas are like elevating. So these 2 things just go hand in hand. So days when I'm actually eating clean all day and I'm working out, like, I just have so much more natural energy. I'm not as tired. So gonna keep the meal prep service going. I'm not playing games with that anymore. I'm just working it into the budget. Number 5 is routine building. So when I thought about all of the goals that I've set, I literally thought, like, not only who do I need to become to make these goals a reality, but what does that version of me do? Like, what do I need to do? What habits do I need to build to actually bring those things to life? And so the easiest places to start are morning routines, nighttime routines. But I'm even thinking about just other routines to build into my work day. This year has been so interesting. This year has been the year I've had the least amount of structure, which I needed. I needed that. But now I want to bring that back because that structure brings confidence and it brings more energy because I don't have to like play it by ear so much. So I even last night went in my Google Calendar and color coded some appointments with myself, like kind of color blocked. And if you want a video on how to set up your Google Calendar with like multiple calendars and color blocking for yourself, comment below. I'm happy to make a video about it. But I went in and kind of created, you know, recurring content days a couple times a month now, instead of it being, you know, every week whenever I had the time, and scheduling my CEO days are already scheduled, but I've actually made them more frequent. Scheduling time for my professional development, like actually putting that on the calendar. Times when I'm going to go and watch courses and other stuff, or read books, or whatever it is. But just little things like that. I went in and marked off my periods. Like I pulled up the app I use, Flow, and I marked off, like I just put in my calendar moon cycle, or moon time. That's what I called it, moon time. And if you watch like spiritual style like videos on YouTube, they talk about menstrual cycles. They always call it their moon cycle. So anyway, so I went in and marked my periods for the next like 2 to 3 months, just because I know sometimes it can shift, but just so I can kind of plan around that. And the next things I need to go in and put in is like vacations, time off, and my spa days. So just kind of having that routine and that structure, just knowing when things are coming up, game changer. So from there, number 6 is refocusing in my business. So what this basically means is, like, now that I've had to slim down my team, this has really forced me to also narrow in on what the priorities are in the business, and kind of go back to basics and not being spread so thin. I'm not spread thin client-wise. I'm spread thin, I'm going to say content-wise, marketing-wise. We're kind of doing all of the things, and it doesn't really make sense right now. So I'm refocusing within my business, which is actually what I'm going to do today. Today, planning out this whiteboard. I printed out a bunch of files, have my planner. Like today is like refocusing the priorities. I have my Q3 goals and kind of my Q3 plan, but just really kind of, you know, really thinking through what needs to be done, what can wait, what's nice to have. So refocusing in my business so that we can crush these Q3 goals. And and if you want a video on what that means and what that looks like, comment down below. Last but not least, number 7 is I am planning to relocate. This has been a long time coming, but part of my evolution and my next step is getting out of here and going to a bigger city. And I'm not from where I live. I'm from Chicago, and I live in a smaller city, and it's time to move. The problem is, this is very stressful because I don't know where I want to go. I am not in love with any particular city. I really enjoy South Florida, but I don't want to live there. It gives me anxious vibes. I feel like if I'm there for more than a week, but if I'm there for less than a week, I love it. I'm super relaxed. I'm here for it, but I don't know. So I'm currently researching cities. I've been watching relocating vlogs, and once I figure out where I'm going and solidify everything, I'll definitely document. But right now, navigating even the thought of this is such a stretch for me, because the city that I live in now is where I moved after I left college. My parents helped, my mom helped me with everything, and I haven't moved cross country or across state lines by myself. So I have to figure that out, child. So if you have tips and advice, comment that down below. So with that being said, these are the steps that I am taking as I look to elevate to the next version, or the best version of myself. If you have any questions, any comments, or any additional videos you'd like to see on this journey, please comment them down below. And with that, I will talk to you all in the next video.